Welcome to the Trainer Talk, where we discuss topics related to health and fitness to help you gain back control of your health and fitness and become the absolute best version of yourself physically and mentally. Enjoy. Hey Bethany, what are we talking about today?
Today we are discussing how eating slowly can help you to lose weight and maintain weight. Gotta read that, hold on. So we're really just going to dive into that topic and talk about all the different benefits that it has and how it's super simple, but how it can be really transformative for your healthy lifestyle and getting you to your goals. So there's a lot of different ways we can dive into it. The five main, topics that we can kind of go into are taking time between each bites, your improved digestion, improved satiety, improved mindfulness, your less hunger, and then just for maintaining your weight overall. So one statistic to start off, just to share, is that it takes the average person 9 to 23 minutes to finish a meal, but it takes about 20 minutes for your brain to actually signal fullness. Mm-hmm. So that's where you can run into eating past the point of fullness if you eat really fast, and then that's also what can lead to overeating down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had that happen to me before, for sure. Yeah. Well, quite often actually. So it's something I'm working on. But I feel like eating slowly and mindfully is one of the lowest hanging fruits when it comes to those tools for losing weight. And it's, not to say that the food you eat and the quantity that you eat is not important, but when you're just starting off, I feel like that's one of the easiest things you can do.
Yeah.
And it's a tool you can use literally anywhere.
Yeah.
At family gatherings, just when you're by yourself at lunch, at home, anything like that.
Yeah. When you think about kind of like the secret hacks and the different habits that you want to try to adopt to be healthy and fit, this doesn't sound very exciting or like my mom asked us what we were talking about today. I said, eating slowly and mindfully. She's like, oh, okay. You can kind of tell she's like, okay, how is this going to help me? But I think people underestimate and they don't realize just how powerful and helpful it can be when you actually do slow down and think about and you're conscious about your meal. Because if you think about the circumstances when we have most meals, we're usually on the go. It's something quick. You're not even thinking about what you're eating. You just slam it down. Think of parents when they're feeding the kids or they're running kids at practices. They grab fast food really quick and they slam something in the car while they're driving.
Or you're on your phone or watching TV.
Yeah. Exactly. So when you think about most meals, we really don't even consciously think about what we're eating. We're just we're distracted by other things going on, and so that's what we want to kind of dive into and explain the benefits. And the biggest one, Bethany already said, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to signal, or your gut to signal to your brain that you're full, and so people will slam a meal and I'm still hungry and have more. And that's where overeating comes in, happens, is because people think that they're still hungry. So they have that side or the extra, or the dessert or the snack right afterward. So,
I think, go ahead.
Yeah. And with that, where they feel like they're still hungry, they still want food afterwards, it's because you actually didn't take the time to enjoy the meal you were actually having. Mm-hmm. So that can help play into if you are eating smaller portion sizes and say that you are having less, but if you eat slower and you chew you chew slowly, take your time in between, you're not distracted, you're actually recognizing that you're having the food, you're able to enjoy it more, you're more satisfied afterwards, rather than feeling I still want to eat more food. You feel okay, that was good, I'm content. So focusing more on how we eat is honestly probably more important, if not just as important, as what we eat. Because that kind of plays into it too.
Yeah, I think when you're eating slower, you're able to tune into and cue in on those hunger and fullness cues. Right. And I think so many of us are losing that ability or just awareness of, are we actually hungry and are we full? Because we're eating so fast, we're eating on the go. Maybe we're eating at certain times instead of when we feel like we're hungry. And sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds to, just eat when you're hungry because you're in a pinch or whatever. But I think doing that, we lose the skill of like actually listening to our body and listening to our hunger and fullness cues.
Right.
Yeah. The next part of it is your improved digestion by eating slowly, and chewing your mouth full like completely before adding more food in. It enhances your experience of eating the food, so you actually get to like have more of the taste and the textures, and then you also get better absorption because there's enzymes. The saliva in your mouth has enzymes that actually starts to break down the food and then gets it ready for the rest of the digestive process. And so if you've chewed it better and it's already started to digest more, by the time it gets to your stomach, you don't get the negative side effects of wolfing down food, like bloating, indigestion. Some people get heartburn, and it's just because they're eating too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes there's like little issues like that can just be mitigated or even completely eliminated if you just take a little bit more time while eating, like instead of wolfing things down in 10 minutes. Because I mean, I've done that before where you eat food super fast because you're like in between clients or at work or something, and you wolf down food super fast. You don't even like feel like you ate anything, but then you feel super bloated afterwards. And even if it's like a healthier meal, you can still feel that negative digestive issues with that. So taking the time to do that just helps your digestion and nutrient absorption.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Is actually because I think like you said that your food, when you chew it more and it's already broken down, is more bioavailable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I thought. And so basically, you're able to use it, and I don't know, how would you explain that? Use it.
Your body's able to utilize more of the nutrients that's in the food.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's in your saliva, there's enzymes that actually start to break down the carbohydrate, and so that's why if you like left a piece of bread on your tongue, or like chewed a piece of bread fully in your mouth until it like dissolved, you'd actually taste the hint of sweetness because you're already starting to break down the carbohydrates in the bread into sugars.
Okay.
And so that process starts in your mouth. The fats and the protein don't really start to break down until you get to your stomach.
Yeah.
But
it takes longer to break down.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
People
sense.
people don't realize that digestion process starts in your mouth from that saliva. The enzymes breaking it down, making it easier for us to utilize all the nutrients and break everything down better. So, yeah, just for people that struggle with indigestion or bloating, like that could be a very simple fix, or maybe make it a little bit better at least.
Yeah.
Just literally slowing down. And I know we'll probably go into more tips at the end, but like since we're on the topic, just setting your fork down in between bites and focusing on chewing it. Maybe you can count your chews. I think there is a recommended amount of like chews.
20 generally.
Yeah, generally 20. So if you're, chew 8 times and swallow, you're like, oh crap, I better chew a little bit more to help my body digest and break this down and utilize it better. So set down your fork, chew it up, swallow, pick it up. You could also take a drink in between every few bites. That always helps, even with the digestion process. If you're, drinking a little bit of water while you're eating, and it'll help you feel more satiated. Because a lot of times people are actually a little bit dehydrated and they think they're hungry. So if you just drink a little bit of water while you're eating in between every few bites, you're going to get fuller faster, and then you won't overeat.
And it sounds kind of funny, like counting your chews, but
Right.
but it actually like works. And taking a sip of water in between or setting your fork down. And so I've tried it like quite a few times recently, and it's just so weird. Like at first it's like, okay,
It seems like so
come on,
much.
like just waiting for that.
Yeah.
Like I have to intentionally not
Yeah.
pick that fork back up,
Yeah.
and then but it takes practice.
Yeah.
But you can totally tell like how satisfied you are quicker, and you can feel yourself getting full, and it's crazy the difference it makes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. Even if you can't like do it undistracted, like if you do have to keep working, at least through putting your fork down in between bites, you're not just like shoveling food into your mouth.
Right.
Because that's when you like run into all the issues that we're kind of talking about. And then one thing as far as digestion goes and the chewing amounts, if you take fast food, you can swallow that between like 4 to 9 chews. And then something like broccoli or chicken breast or like potatoes or something, that takes a bit more chews to actually get it to digest. So like fast foods tend to be eaten a lot faster. So it's a lot of calories in a short amount of time.
And they do that on purpose, right?
That's a
And
really
they do
good
that on
point,
purpose so
yeah.
you can eat more
Yeah.
before you hit that 20 minutes of like, oh, I'm full.
Yeah, if you
So-
think about how long it would take you to have like a steak with broccoli and a potato compared to, like something running through fast food and
Couple
grabbing a
Big
burger and
Macs.
fries,
Yeah.
like, anybody that can probably picture like eating a steak, like it takes a ton of freaking chews to break that
Yeah.
down because it's just, it's such a lean protein. And broccoli, like any kind of vegetable, having it's all the fiber and like it's starchy, it's like you got to chew it a lot
Break
to
it
be able to
down.
break it
Yeah.
down. And so you're not only eating slower, but you're digesting it better. You won't overeat. That's a really, really good point. Is
Mhm.
like, okay, these highly processed, high sugar foods, they're not only worse for you, but you're gonna overeat them because it doesn't take as long to chew it. You're gonna really, really quickly start breaking it down and digesting it, and then you just end up, shoveling more in because you're gonna feel hungry by the time you're done with that meal.
They're using the science of digestion
Mhm.
against you.
Yeah.
Right.
And like the hunger signaling and
Yeah.
everything like that.
And taste buds, it's a whole ball
Yeah.
game. But
They have scientists
Yeah.
that actually like are in labs trying to make things
Yeah.
like the perfect crunch, the perfect texture, the perfect amount of flavor, like everything like
yeah,
that.
if you notice, like chips, like as soon as you bite into like a Dorito or like a Pringle, you get this burst of flavor, but it's like almost
Yeah.
immediately gone.
So you're like,
And so
oh,
you're like,
I
I need another one. And then it's like you get a burst of flavor. And it's so good for like 2 seconds, and then it's gone, and it melts away in your mouth. It's like that's why you just keep shoveling it in your mouth.
Mhm. Pringle slogan is you can't just eat one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is staying full and eating less. So there's a statistic that slow eaters are 42% less likely to be overweight or obese.
Wow.
It's according to like
Wow,
a
that's
study.
big
in the-
percentage, crazy,
Yeah. And like just taking like those short breaks during the meal and like paying attention to your hunger and fullness cues is huge.
I think something that just keeps popping into my mind, and I don't want to forget to talk about it, is along with just slower eating and setting down the fork and everything, I would really highly recommend everybody buy smaller plates
Oh, yeah.
and then take your time eating that smaller plate because it is less food.
Mhm.
But I'm 100% sure that if you practice slow eating, even with a smaller meal, you're going to feel just as satiated as that great big plate with a lot of food on it if you scarfed it down.
Mhm.
So if you take your time and enjoy a small meal on a smaller plate, you're going to be just as satisfied and not feel like you just overate and bloated and irritable because you took your time compared to having that that big meal. So that's another tip, is just slow eating. Plus, try just literally buy a smaller plate so that you can't load it up and overeat.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's kind of one thing that I noticed with the Icon meals. Like I'll look at some of them and be like, it's not like a lot of food.
Yeah.
But like if you eat it slowly and like you take your time, you chew and like enjoy the flavors of it and everything, you're like, oh, you know what, that was enough. Like that was a perfect amount of food.
Yeah.
And then another thing with eating slower, you actually have better hormonal regulation. So like there's the hunger hormones like leptin and ghrelin.
Mhm.
They influence satiety and then your hunger. So by eating slowly, you actually have more of the like appetite suppressor hormone, or like the satiating hormone. And then people who eat really fast end up actually getting more of the like hunger hormone response, because it's like big swings here and there. So like they might eat a big meal and get super duper full, but then they get like super hungry a couple hours later. And actually, if you eat slower, you're fuller longer, even if you eat less food.
Yep.
It's more baseline, steady instead of the.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about like 2 hours afterwards. If you eat a meal super fast, you're gonna get hungry again. But if you eat slower, it's between 3 to 4 hours where you start to feel hungry again.
That makes sense because I've felt that
Oh yeah.
at like family events,
Mhm.
Right. it's
Thanksgiving.
like- yeah, Thanksgiving. Like you have
Yeah.
a big meal, and then you wait a few hours and you're like, oh, I could have like seconds.
Yeah.
But then, if you take your time, like especially with a family meal, right? Like you load your plate, like use a smaller plate or just like take a little bit of everything instead of like mounds of stuff. And then you just like, you sit there, you eat, you enjoy the food, you talk with your family instead of just scarfing down food.
Right.
And then, like pay attention, like am I full? Like don't eat past fullness or try not to anyways.
Yeah, that's another thing is eat until you're about 80% full and then wait. Like we said, it's that 20-minute.
Yep.
So, if it took you 10 or 15 minutes to eat your meal and you're about 80% full, wait 5 or 10 minutes to really understand if you're full or if you need a little bit more before you go back and just grab more, right?
Yeah. And then one other thing that the slow eating can help with is your cravings. So by eating slower, you have less of an insulin response as well. So you don't have like spikes and crashes in that. And then also the hunger hormones play into it. So you actually get less cravings throughout the day because you've also changed your perception of food. And then you have less like food binges too. Because like, some people they can struggle with like they sit down with a bag of chips and they just like eat everything. Or they restrict themselves all day and then at night they eat like 2,000 calories.
Mm-hmm.
And by being more mindful with your food and being like changing your perception of it instead of just something to like shovel in, you're able to like either like stop the urge to binge or you at least like don't have the craving to do that as much because you're more intentional with it.
Makes sense.
The binge is like a mindless thing and it's like you don't feel conscious or control of it. And then by taking that awareness back and that presence with your food, then like the binges just don't happen as much. So I read an article on that and I thought that was really interesting. How just eating slower and then even if someone was in like a binge eating cycle or an episode or something, the minute you catch yourself, if you just think, okay, take one breath in between bites, it can stop it.
Yeah. That's what I was
Which is
about to
kinda
say.
crazy.
I heard that too. I've used that before. That's wild.
Yeah. So over time, it might not seem very significant in that moment of like, oh, okay, I'm just eating slower, even if it's the same amount of food. But those calories do add up over time.
Right.
And, if you do eat to actual fullness rather than just like what's on the plate, like if you're fuller for longer, you can go longer without the next meal. If you have less cravings and less like tendencies to binge, you're going to have less calories taken in overall. Add that up across days, weeks, months. You can basically change your body composition just through doing that.
That's the difference between gaining 10 pounds in a year and losing 10 pounds in a year.
Yeah, that's true.
That might not seem very significant, but that's a 20-pound difference by just changing the rate at which you eat over the course of a year.
Which is the simplest thing.
Mm-hmm.
It takes practice. Doesn't necessarily mean it's easy, but it's...
But I think with everything, you have to be highly intentional for getting started. So maybe like it's 1 week or 2 weeks where you practice, okay, I'm going to set my fork down. I'm going to count my chews. And then you get used to it. You develop this kind of normal habit of doing that. It's not like you have to count your chews for the rest of your life or set your fork down for the rest of your life, but it's a tool that you can use to build the habit of eating slower, taking your time, being more mindful. And then next thing you know, you'll be doing it naturally. It might take a month or two, but you'll be doing it naturally, just, it's second nature, just like with any other habit that we do, like brushing our teeth, getting ready, it's just stuff that we naturally do every day. It just takes a little bit of intentional, work in the beginning to build that initial habit. But
I think for us as a society or with our food environment, we've been almost conditioned to eat really fast.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning, you get up, you're in a rush, like shovel some food in your mouth, and you got to get on the bus to go to school.
Plus, if you think about most breakfast foods, it's all highly processed like carbohydrates. If you think about cereal, bagels, donuts, Pop-Tarts, all of that is literally just carbohydrates. There's no healthy fats, there's no protein. And so not only do you digest it super fast, spike the insulin, but it's also something that you can chew in 4 to 5 bites
Yes.
and immediately swallow, and then you're still left really hungry all day, have those cravings.
You probably
It's a
crash like
nightmare.
midday, and
Yeah.
you wonder why.
You're way better off having something with high protein and healthy fats, such as like, eggs or something like that in the morning to start you off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So food choice to start your day is another big thing. Not just even eating slowly. It's like, okay, the first meal of the day, that's why I think it's so important. If I woke up and had pancakes and donuts for breakfast, I'm probably going to want more freaking crap all day long than if I woke up and had, eggs with oatmeal or a fruit or something like that. And that's what I try to do. Like my smoothie in the morning tastes great, but it's packed with walnuts, protein, blueberries, oats. It's a really complete, nutritious meal, and then I want to eat healthier all day because I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like how we talked about before. It's like a web of like choices. And,
Mhm.
like, your first choice can kind of
Stem
send you
to
in
the
the
next.
right or the wrong direction.
Yep.
But yes, they have done where if you have like a higher protein breakfast, you're fuller throughout the rest of the day. You tend to make better choices than if you have like a higher carbohydrate and sugar breakfast.
Yeah.
So that can really play into it too. And then there's one other point I want to bring up from Jen Rochman talked about this in one of her YouTube videos. She noticed one of her dietitians would always eat lunch and take her time, be very mindful, wouldn't like work through lunch, always took a lunch break. And they had like a discussion about it, and then they started researching all the literature behind it and how obviously all of these things come into play, like the digestion and all of that. But then there's another point of taking that break midday in your workday gives your mind a break.
Yep.
But otherwise, if you just keep moving through, or if you're like scrolling on your phone, it doesn't feel like you actually got a break from your mind.
You're still
working.
stimulated.
It's like meditation,
Right.
but with food. That's the kind of meditation I would do anyways.
That's a really good goal for people to have then, is for lunch. That's like your break between the morning and afternoon. Have a really good meal, take your time, be mindful of it, no other distractions, and you're going to get a mental benefit from it too, and a spike in energy. You're going to feel way better the rest of the day.
Yeah. So I mean, think of meditation is very popular. Like there's all these apps and everything, and it's like, all right, set a timer for 20 minutes. You're gonna take 20 minutes to eat your lunch, and like 20 minutes out of your workday is really not that much. Most people get a half hour to an hour for a lunch break, and instead of just working through it, it's like, okay, take 20 minutes, put your screens away, focus on your food. It gives your mind a break, gives your body time to like process the food that you've actually eaten. You won't get like super like a hard crash afterwards as well. And then at the end of the day, when you get home, you're not like, oh, I need a break. I need wine, or I need chocolate, or I need some sort of food to like calm myself, or like some sort of a snack. You don't have the urge to, I guess, relax or like use food as some sort of a coping
mechanism.
Yes, a coping mechanism for that. So
that's a really good point.
Midday break, like 20 minutes, can really set up your evening for success. So
I'm a huge proponent of investing into something that will produce more productivity. So a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the time to take a break from work. I gotta work, through lunch, all this stuff. I got so many things to do. What you don't realize is if you did something like that, you took 20 minutes and just separated from everything going on, and you had a good meal, and you just kind of gave your mind a break, you're gonna be way more productive over those coming hours. And that's the same thing I explain to you guys every single day. I try to take a 30-minute power nap. Okay, I could say I'm wasting my time. Why would I take a nap in the middle of the day? But I know from the last 8 years of being a personal trainer that if I take a little 30-minute nap, I can work throughout the afternoon with so much more productivity and energy. I'm getting more done by taking my time and sacrificing that work hour or whatever it is. So I'm more productive in the afternoon, and then I don't have to like cope in the afternoon because I'm so burnt out.
Yeah, that's actually something I came across on Instagram the other day of this guy I follow, and he was talking about the exact same thing. So he said, do something mindless, like take a break, because you're working hard, your brain's all over the place, you're going to meetings, working out, training clients. and then take a break and do something where you don't have to think about anything at all. So what he did was, not everybody can do this, obviously, but he was going back and forth from the sauna and cold plunge. So you just sit there or taking a nap.
Or we're going for a
It's
walk
about as
outside.
mindless
Something
as it
like that.
gets. Yeah. So doing something like that, wake up and then get in your flow state, go hard at work, and then just take a break and do nothing. Do something mindless.
Mhm.
And then by doing that, you're kind of resetting yourself, and then you're able to get into that flow state again, and you're going to be so much more productive, like you said.
Yeah, 100%. Like even this morning. So like this week we've introduced the level method. So we've been doing a lot of assessments. We've started like 6 new clients this week. It's been a pretty long week so far, very busy for us.
Our challenge
And
started.
our challenge started. We've got a lot going on. And to be honest, I woke up this morning and mentally it does take a toll on us, right? So it's a little bit mentally fatiguing, plus physically fatiguing. You're helping clients, loading weights, all that stuff. You're adding more volume. So this morning I came in and I did an active recovery workout. I didn't have any music on. It was just me by myself in here. I did a 20-minute little circuit, dead silence. And that was almost like a form of meditation for me. Like it felt great to do that. Most of the time I'm always, listening to a podcast or have the music blaring, something like that. But it actually felt really good every once in a while to I was just like present in the moment, just going through my circuit, no music, anything. And that was almost like a meditation. So it just gave my mind a break from everything, So whether it's going for a walk, enjoying a nice lunch, maybe it's taking a quick power nap, even if you just rest, like lay down and close your eyes for 15 minutes in silence, you actually you're going to be refreshed and ready to take on the rest of the day.
You don't even need to be asleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did that yesterday, and I set an alarm in case I did actually fall asleep. I was
That's
like,
a
what?
good idea.
I was like, I'm gonna turn the TV off instead of usually I'll watch a show or something, and then if I end up falling asleep, cool. But I just turned the TV off. I'm like, I'm just gonna rest my eyes. I'm gonna lay here. I've got 30 minutes. Set an alarm, and I did actually fall asleep for a little bit, and I did feel a bit more refreshed from that little tiny power nap. It might have been 15 minutes, but it was just a little bit of enough to kind of recharge you for the rest of the day. So that was pretty cool.
And being on your phone doesn't count as something mindless.
Right.
Yeah.
Or TV.
Or TV.
And kind of stemming back from what Bethany mentioned about starting the day, how you start the day, it either goes in a positive direction or a negative direction, and every choice thereafter is either positive or negative. And so at the end of the day, you're either in a positive state or a negative state toward whatever goal you have. So if you start your day, for example, with a healthy meal, you're going in the right direction. You have another healthy meal, or maybe you get a workout in or a walk in, you're going in the right direction. Maybe you do have a snack and you go down, but then you go back up. So there's all these different choices. So I like to think of that with the choices I make. For example, you mentioned you'll put on the TV and maybe you watching a little bit of a show to relax or whatever. I try to not watch TV until the end of the day. So I feel if I watch a show or something I enjoy in the middle of the day, it'll steer me away from the work I want to do, because it's you want more of it. Just like if you have a sugary bad meal, it's okay, I want more of that. So what I do is I will only listen to a podcast, listen to an Audible, or watch some sort of self-development YouTube video, something like that, until I get to the end of the day after 5. Then I will watch my show, and I can scroll Facebook if I want to, and Instagram. But I try my best not to do those things throughout my work day.
Yeah. Well, because it changes your mind
Exactly.
frame. And you don't want your mind frame to be away from your work and what you need to be focused on until the end of the day.
Exactly.
And I've done that in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And I can literally tell, once I turn it off, I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not.
And that's why one of the worst things you can do is snooze, wake up and scroll Facebook.
Yeah.
Then it's oh, I don't want to fucking do anything today.
Yeah.
Well, no kidding. You just kind of shot your morning. So you wake up and got started on the right foot, got a good breakfast, getting in that positive state of environment. You're going to have more, kind of like when you make your bed in the morning.
Mhm.
it's like the first little win of the day. Then all of a sudden you have more wins throughout the day.
Mhm.
If you start with a loss, like a terrible breakfast and snoozing and all that stuff, you're going to have probably more negative things happen, or you're going to be tired, or you're going to be angry, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of what we talk about with like getting the ball rolling, and not just emotion stays in motion, that sort of thing. Like, especially with motivation, it's just taking action. And so it's like if you're taking a positive action right away in the morning, you're more likely to just keep taking positive actions. But if you wake up, you hit snooze, you're scrolling on Facebook, like you're staying in bed, you skip breakfast because you're running late, and then it's like it just kind of like snowballs because you're already in a negative direction, and it's easier to just stay in the same direction than to correct it. So that's why a lot of people are very like all or nothing.
yes,
Where they're like either they're all on 100% on track, or if they have one bad decision, they're like, well, we're just going to keep going because it's the same direction. So it's just focusing on all right, what's the next like, best choice and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I think if you start with that low hanging fruit, the mindful eating, slow eating,
Mhm.
that puts you into that mindset and snowballs into, like, if you're consistently slowly eating, it's going to snowball into maybe I should be making better food choices.
Right.
And then maybe that
Being
turns
more
into,
conscious of it.
maybe I should, some exercise would be good for me. Let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
Or, it just kind of slowly changes the things that you think about in every day, and it turns it into that more health conscious lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be more conscious of it.
Yeah,
I think after today,
especially after talking about
for the
it
next
Yeah.
week or two at least.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
And you sent me the email.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about that
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, we can do it. It was let me pull it up real quick.
I have it up.
It was a third. Do you have it up? Oh, you can
You want me to do
mention
it?
it. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's a 30-day eating challenge from Precision Nutrition. We'd gotten this email, and that's why this kind of sparked this topic. And it kind of it explains everything that we kind of went through today. But I like how it breaks down. There was a athlete who like wanted to improve his body composition, and he was already at 13.9% body fat, which is still pretty lean.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's athletic, been training, like they've done the macros, they've done the healthy eating, they know what to do. And he got down to 9.5% body fat just through eating slowly and mindfully for 30 days.
It's crazy.
So it's like it's not too not too simple for the more advanced people.
Right.
So like even for us, we're like, we should probably work on that too.
Yeah.
Now, I know about this, and as you guys know, my goal is more to gain weight and size. So I will purposely eat fast so I can eat more
There
calories.
you go.
However, my digestion is probably taking a little bit of a toll. But that is something that I'm conscious of, is like I will purposely eat a little bit fast because I want to get more calories in. Good thing is 97% of the people watching this, 99% will probably not have that issue. They'll probably want to eat less to lose body fat.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
That's true. It depends on your goals.
Yeah.
Like if your goal is to gain muscle and gain weight, like you got to wolf down food and probably have a little bit more of like the processed, easier to eat and digest foods.
Yeah, I'm always actually low on carbohydrates. Every single day, I'm like anywhere from 50 to 100 grams shy of my carbohydrate goal. So I actually have to have more carbohydrates and kind of almost more like, I guess, I don't know, processed carbs, because it's hard to get a lot of carbs through potatoes and oats.
It is. You're going to be eating a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Just wanted to include that because it's kind of something funny that I wanted to say in the beginning. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, so hopefully this helps, guys, and hopefully you have a better understanding of the importance of eating slowly and mindfully, and that it will really, really, really help you. And another just takeaway is try it for 30 days. So maybe we'll do a little 30-day challenge, like 30 days, practice setting the fork down. Maybe it's taking a drink. Maybe it's no distraction eating for at least one meal a day. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's one meal a day, like lunch, for example, to kind of reset you for the afternoon. Make sure there's no phones, no TV, no distractions. Just sit down, enjoy your meal. Wait that 20 minutes to make sure you're satisfied before you go for, a snack or anything like that. Another thing I would suggest is practice eating with smaller plates. because I think you're going to get just as much satisfaction from that smaller meal eating slowly than you would from that bigger meal scarfing it down. I think you're going to be just as satisfied from it. And then over 30 days, think about how many less calories you're going to consume that were unnecessary.
Yeah.
So just be a little bit more mindful of it. Obviously, make the best decisions you can. Try to start good. Like start with healthy meal for breakfast, a healthy lunch, a healthy dinner. And then if you have a Snickers for a snack, like so be it. You did really well throughout the day. It's okay to have a little bit of something because you probably ate a lot less calories leading up to past dinner than you would have otherwise if you got fast food and had Pop-Tarts or a freaking donut or bagel for breakfast. Like you're going to be better off. So that's my suggestion and my tips for like the next 30 days, especially through the holidays.
Yeah, and like enjoy, if you are going to have that treat, enjoy it. Like don't just wolf it down, like savor it, take your time. Be mindful with it and be slower, and you'll probably eat less of the actual sweet and feel more satisfied.
Yep. And don't grab the whole bag of chips or like the whole bag of candy. Grab one or two and take it to wherever you're going to eat it.
Take it and leave.
Yeah, because if I'm the same way, we're the same way. If you give me a bag of chips, I'm probably going to eat the whole freaking bag or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just be smart, set up your environment for success. And then you're going to be way more successful. And to add that on, since we are coming up on Christmas, if you do that for, say, the next 2 weeks, we've got about 2 weeks till Christmas. 2 weeks, you're nailing it. You're eating good breakfast, good lunch, good dinner. You're eating mindfully and slowly. Enjoy the holidays. Don't beat yourself up if you slip up and have a bunch of junk food. It's like I embrace and I enjoy every bit of the food that I eat on holidays. Sure, I feel like crap like the next day, but I am on track 95% of the time. I don't beat myself up when I have 17 cookies on Christmas Day. It's like that. I'm just wanted to point that out because a lot of people worry about it. They wait until the new year before they start anything because they got Christmas coming up. I just explained to Jamie last night. I'm like, Lauren, how many meals do you eat a day?
Like probably 4.
4. Let's say 4 times you're eating.
Okay.
And there's 7 days a week. That's 28 different meals a week. From Thanksgiving to the New Year is about 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So you got 28 meals times 5. That's like 140 meals, something like that. I'm not sure exactly. We'll have to do 125, 3. Yes, 140 meals. 140 meals. How many Christmases do you have?
Just 1, maybe 2.
Okay. How many Thanksgivings did you have?
1.
So you have 3 meals out of 140, and people wait until the New Year because of those 3 meals. It drives me nuts. Like I gotta wait till the New Year. I got Thanksgiving. I'm just gonna be all off track. It's like you're letting 3, maybe 6 max. Like if you got a couple different family gatherings, obviously I get it. You got leftovers, okay, but still, you're talking about less than 10 meals out of 140 or 120, and you're letting it, dictate your whole 6 weeks and starting the new year 10 pounds heavier instead of starting the new year 10 pounds less. It's basically the difference. So I'm done with my rant, my tangent. Hopefully that motivates people to kick their butt in gear and get started on tomorrow or today. Start eating slow.
Today for lunch.
Yeah, today
it's
for
11
lunch.
o'clock.
We got an hour till lunch, so
yes.
Eat it slowly. Even if you got a burrito or some kind of fast food, enjoy it, and then get on track after that.
That's right.
All right, cool. Great job again. Thanks again for tuning in to the Trainer Talk. If you are ready to gain back control of your health and fitness, we would love to sit down and chat with you to see if we can put together a plan for you. All you have to do is head to TaylorHutchinsonFitness.net and book a free consult. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon.